Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News24. We are live in Abuja. Thanks for joining us. I am Olajide Bello. First, the headlines. Chief of Defense Staff solicits cooperation of residents in restaurant crude production to full capacity.
The president is fully aware of the cries and hues of the communities, and he's not going to let them down. The communities should rest assured that steps are going to be taken to address their grievances.
$10 billion investment in pipeline as President Tinubu meets international oil and gas company. National Productivity Center to engage experts for enhanced service delivery. President Bola Tinubu has charged security agencies in the country to strengthen cooperation towards checkmating all forms of insecurity in Nigeria. This was at a routine security meeting at the State House with heads of security agencies in the country. After the meeting held behind closed doors, Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbeto told State House correspondents that the president expressed satisfaction over improvement in security situation within the country.
As Inspector General of Police, I have the records of all reported crimes across the country. And I can tell you that crime rate is declining in Nigeria. Records don't lie. The records are there. So I can assure you that we continue to do whatever we are doing to maintain the decline in the crime rate.
Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, emphasized the commitment of the security agencies towards restoring crude production to full capacity, soliciting for the cooperation of host communities.
We are targeting 2.1 million barrels per day, which is achievable. So we are taking steps to ensure that all that is required to be done is done. The president is fully aware of the cries and hues of the communities, and he's not going to let them down. The communities should rest assured that steps are going to be taken to address their grievances so that productions will continue. And for the criminals, those ones that are hell-bent in destroying our infrastructure, stealing our crude for whatever reason, the days are numbered. They should be rest assured that we're coming after them, and want to assure Nigerians that we all need to put hands together to achieve this success. Nobody can do it alone. No single service, no single individual can do this. We all need to work together, including the states. We understand that communities are going through so much, and the president is going to address those issues to ensure that we have full production.
Nigeria is expecting an additional investment worth over $10 billion from a private company in the oil and gas industry. This was reviewed after President Bola Tinubu's meeting with a delegation of Eni, an Italian multinational energy company, at the State House. State House correspondent Musbadan Wahab reports that Eni has been in Nigeria since 1962, but some operational bottlenecks have reportedly hindered their operation in the recent time. After the meeting with the President, Tinubu, Minister of State for Petroleum Oil, Heineken, probably disclosed that the issues have been resolved.
We have resolved all the issues, NNPC, NUPRC, Attorney General's office, Minister of Petroleum, all of us were involved in resolving all the issues, and I believe that we have agreed. And very soon we'll come and brief the President formally about the outcome of it. Having just, had a deal with Owando, to exit their onshore assets, I've decided to come and then play big in the offshore, in the deep water.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with what they are bringing on board, especially as it will affect gas, because gas is the direction that we are going right now. And we are moving into a new Nigeria with gas evolution.
Key players in the sector attribute the headway being recorded in this direction to the conducive environment being created by the Tinubu's administration.
Mr. President, reforms are working. We are seeing sustained return of our partners into the investment field, and we are seeing increasing participation and interest to invest in our country, and this is also showing up in our current performances.
We are implementing the reforms of Mr. President that relates to the initiatives that incentives that have been granted, and that is creating sanity and confidence in the mind of investors.
President Bola Tinubu is promising that federal government will continue to ensure that investments in key sectors of the economy follow clear timelines and are impactful on the lives of citizens. President Tinubu, who received the management of the Aluminium Smelter Company of Nigeria, ASCON, led by the chairman Alexei Notov at the State House, said the government is keen on reviving the smelter company in Kotabasi, Akwa Ibom State. President Tinubu emphasized the need for clear vision and detailed plans in the steel and energy sector, adding that there must be timelines. President Tinubu directed the Minister of Steel Development, Shuaibu Audu, and the Special Advisor to the President on Energy, Olu Vehejen, to review and provide updates on the status of ASCON. The chairman of ASCON assured the President of the preparedness of the management to turn around the fortune of the company within a given period by injecting $500 million. Anatov said the management is aware of the centrality of aluminium in modern development, particularly for Nigeria, and would continue to support the growth of the country. The federal government has unveiled a comprehensive strategy to lead Africa's digital trade revolution within the framework of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Vice President Kashim Shettima said Nigeria must lead the way to the future of this peculiar wave of the Industrial Revolution at a stakeholder summit with the theme Digital Trade in Africa, the Renewed Hope Strategy. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
The strategy is to harness trade as a catalyst for economic growth and continental cohesion, in line with the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement objectives, and Nigeria is in a unique position to spearhead the continent's technological transformation. Vice President Kashim Shettima at the summit outlined key components of the roadmap to include implementation of digital trade protocol and the development of expansive technical talent hubs.
The vehicles to that future are already here. They are knowledge production, strategic policy implementation, critical infrastructure, disruptive innovation, entrepreneurship and capital and trade. This gathering to revisit digital trade in Africa is yet another opportunity for us to review our commitments to expanding investments in the digital economy. AFCFTA, therefore, underlines our leadership in this sector, and now is the time to assert our presence through strategies that create opportunities for our tech-savvy nation.
We're probably also aware that the Nigerian interbank settlement system is one of the best in the world, not just in Africa. And this is why Nigeria today has over 5 unicorns within the financial technology space. And the implication of this is that every Nigerian business can actually easily transact with people from across the continent because we have the technology to make this happen.
Identify the key opportunities for enhancing digital trade within the AFCTA framework. We will also discuss the effective strategies to ensure a coordinated approach to implement this AFCTA digital trade protocol, and also how it will enhance the economic growth of Nigeria.
Nigeria is also investing significantly in every aspect of the digital trade protocol, with a view to harnessing opportunities in the country and continent at large within the single market area that could best be harnessed through effective collaboration and networking facilitated by digital technology.
We love trade that much that we join regional trade agreements when we're not even in the region. So that's how much we love it. Because we understand that plurilateral agreements don't have to be one size fits all. They can allow for different types of economies, different levels of commitment, different types of speed and joining up to those commitments. And that's what the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is.
Some of our analysis shows that the Digital Trade Protocol and a 10% rise in digital connectivity in Nigeria can increase its GDP by 11 to 13%. It can give rise to employment by 15 to 40% and expand its exports from 16 to 60%.
Other stakeholders commended Nigeria for its visionary approach and leadership in prioritizing digital trade, pledging commitment to support the operationalization of the agreement. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
The Minister of Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu, says the projects captured in the proposed 6.2 trillion amendment to the 2024 Appropriation Act are innovative as they would show up revenue through increased economic activities. He said this during an engagement with the Senate Committee on Appropriation. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
2 days after President Tinubu transmitted to the National Assembly the proposed amendments to the 2024 Appropriation Act to make room for key infrastructure projects and the national minimum wage, the lawmakers are engaging the Minister of Budget and National Planning for details. Atiku Bagudu explains that the review is part of President Tinubu's resolve to confront infrastructure deficit, which is why projects such as the Lagos-Calabar, the Trans-Sahara and the Sokoto-Badagry highways feature in the amendments.
This is where the proposed sum of 6.222 trillion will be deployed. These are roads which cumulatively cross 23 states and which we believe are transformational, the Sokoto-Calabar as well as the Lagos-Calabar the Sokoto-Badagry as well as the Lagos-Calabar, we believe will be catalytic in terms of economic activity and investment in both areas.
It's divided into two, 3 trillion to recurrent and 3.2 trillion to renewed group infrastructure and critical infrastructure. No borrowing plan has been identified to fund this budget. It is being funded as a result of increase in revenue.
The meeting was an opportunity for lawmakers to seek insight on some other economic policies of governments.
The gas revolution in terms of CNG, and we as a legislature, we also think that there should be a legal framework put in place for the implementation of this program.
The funds budgeted for in the supplementary 2024 budget, is it to cover the design phase or the flag off of the construction proper?
The proposed 70,000, will this proposal cover it? And you have answered it.
The committee asked the minister to provide more information from ministries, departments and agencies of government that would execute the projects to enable early approval of the amendments. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The House of Representatives says it will work closely with the Senate to ensure swift passage of the 2024 Appropriation Act Amendment Bill submitted by President Bola Tinubu to the National Assembly. Deputy House spokesperson Philip Agbese in a statement says the Green Chamber is committed to ensuring that the budget adjustment serves the best interest of Nigerians. The money bill totaling 6.2 trillion naira aims to fund critical infrastructure projects, education, healthcare and public welfare initiatives. It is divided into two main components with 3.2 trillion naira for renewed hope infrastructure projects across the country and 3 trillion naira to meet recurrent expenditure of the federal government. The Deputy House spokesperson says lawmakers will scrutinize every bit of the proposal to ensure that ultimately each cover is well utilized and that the budget amendment bill is in the best interest of all citizens. This is the news at 10 on NTA News24. Let's take a break now. More reports when we return. Thanks for being there. Director General, National Productivity Center, Baffa Baba Dan Angudi, is aiming to engage in productivity expertise to streamline productivity techniques to public and private organizations in Nigeria to improve productivity level. He made this strategy known on his first day in office as the new Director General of the center. Joseph Woodson reports.
It has been 29 years of service at the National Productivity Center, with the last year and a half as Director General for Nasser Raji Mustafa. But it is time to leave and hand over to the new DG, Baffa Baba Dan Agundi. The all-time productivity stalwart is not just handing over the center to the new man, but also putting him through the workings of the office and strides recorded.
We are trying to develop a productivity model that will link productivity with the wages of workers. And we have done the first phase. The report is out. You are going to see the report. So if you can take it to the next level, I'm sure government will begin to see us as a serious institution.
A new ground for Dan Agundi, who is a former majority leader of the Kano State House of Assembly, principal registrar of the Kano State High Court of Justice, and politician from Kano State. However, he believes exploiting best hands, including experience of Raji Mustafa, will propel best productivity strategies.
I held many agencies in Kano, and not only the immediate first chief executives that handed over to me, even from the first chief executive, I bring them back to the agency to help me, and that was why I achieved a lot there. So you still remain with us. I'm here to learn from you to take this agency to the next level.
The National Productivity Center was established in 1987 with a mandate of researching, training of entrepreneurs and enterprise to boost productivity, as well as engaging in productivity measurements. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
The saying that the bigger you are, the more problems seems to be playing out in Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, where a rise in building collapse is turning the dreams of many families into nightmares. These tragic incidents have claimed many lives and left others devastated. In this special report, Ikira Clinton reveals how these events expose serious flaws in Nigeria's construction practices and urban planning.
The aftermath of a building collapse in Kubwa, a suburb of Abuja, paints a grim picture of debris and chaos. This tragic event comes less than 24 hours after a school building in Plateau State collapsed, killing 22 pupils and leaving 132 others injured. Some weeks ago, another building crumbled at Unity House in Area 11 Garki, Abuja. On June 18, a newly constructed shopping complex in Gwarimpa, Abuja collapsed just days before its grand opening, killing 5 and injuring 8. Earlier on the 3rd of July, tragedy struck in Ebutemeta, Lagos, where 10 lives were lost and 15 people were injured. Another incident was recorded in Port Harcourt's Mile 1 area on June 30, 2024. These incidents are far from isolated. In the last 2 decades, Nigeria has seen a disturbing rise in building collapses, leading to the loss of lives, livelihoods, and homes. In terms of frequency and severity of these incidents, Nigeria ranks highest in Africa. Between 1974 and 2019, more than 221 buildings collapsed across Nigeria, with Lagos alone experiencing 167 reported cases from 2000 to 2021. In 2024, 22 cases of building collapse have been recorded from January to July 13. A staggering 78.4% of these collapses involved residential buildings, 12.8% were commercial, and 8.8% were institutional. This spate of collapses has displaced over 6,000 households and costs an estimated $3.2 trillion in property damage. These alarming trends highlight the urgent need for action. So, what are the root causes of these frequent building collapses?
Constant flooding in areas
led to weakness of the structure of the buildings. Our people love to cut costs. They want to cut ends so that they cut the cost of the building construction.
Penchant of developers or clients to maximize their money or to make profits. Of course, you cannot also rule out the issue of corruption and greed from it. Distressed buildings are buildings that maybe as a result of that they have stayed over the years without any maintenance structurally.
Many incidents involve developers bypassing professional procedures, using unqualified builders and employing substandard materials. To stem this tide, experts emphasize the need for strict enforcement of building regulations and increase public awareness about building safety.
Any of these building collapse we have, the deaths, unfortunate situation that we find ourselves, nobody is prosecuted because the law is silent in that area. Nobody pay compensation. Nobody is being charged for jail time. Nobody, nothing. And so this is one area, critical area that we must, as a nation, rise up. Any structure that is under construction, looking at its capacity, its scope and what have you, we should demand for insurance.
You must make sure, we must make sure that all the stakeholders on SAN did their own bit and make sure that they develop sound structures in order to prevent the loss of lives in the event of building collapse.
This is a call on the federal government to invest in these laboratories, equip them with state-of-the-art facilities, and perhaps go into partnership with at least 6 different universities from the 6 geopolitical zones, so that they will also develop state-of-the-art geotechnical laboratories, so that when we begin to do enforcement, there will be facilities for people to go and do their tests.
The collapse of St. Academy School building in Jos is a stark reminder that the safety of buildings is not just a matter of policy, but a matter of life and death. It is a call for all stakeholders, government, developers, builders and the public to work together to ensure that our buildings are safe and secure. In Abuja, Eucharia Clinton, NTA News.
The National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission is providing support to flood victims in Kogi State and training youth in affected areas to become self-employed. Jonathan Omajali reports on the Commission's plan to assist 705 youth with starter packs for their new career path.
At its inception on January 15, 2021, a team from the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission and HYPADEC visited riverine communities in Kogi State to assess their needs for infrastructural intervention.
Botonkarfe, for example, Ibaji, for example, and my own place, Mozo, where there's no any flood that will come that will not ravage the entire Mozo district. The NHYPADEC have provided 2-bedroom flats, each 50 units, for those people that are affected with flood in Basta local government in general.
As part of his youth empowerment program, 705 youths from these areas were trained in various skills, including computer precision, tailoring, cosmetology, poultry farming, bag and shoe making, printing, among others.
We are at the peak of the program YTP, Youth Transformation Program.
Briefing stakeholders, the Directorate of Community and Rural Development announced that the Commission is prepared to distribute starter packs to the trainees.
We have trained this youth, you will recall, in 2023, and due to some paucity of funds, the materials could not be ready, but the starter pack are trickling in now, and by the end of August, inshallah, the youth that have been trained will be given their starter pack.
Stakeholders say that equipping youth in these areas will help reduce crime and improve youth employment. In Lokoja, Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
And that concludes the news at 10 and NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Olajide below.